Good evening. I would like to call the October 7th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting to order. Please note this meeting is being hosted through live stream on the city website and by teleconference via Zoom. I would like to remind the planning commissioners to have their microphones turned on and positioned so the audience can hear. Director Monique, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Worth,
Here.
Commissioner Viramontes,
Here.
Commissioner Hill is absent with notice. Commissioner Barahona, maybe
She says she's
she
coming.
may be on her way. Okay. Chair Beamsterfer.
Here. Commissioner Viramontes, could you lead us in invocation and flag salute, please?
Invocation first. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to better our city and give us the knowledge today to make the right decision. Amen. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Agenda item number 4 is the public comment period for items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public present who would like to comment on an item not on the agenda? City Clerk?
City Attorney, you have the speaker cards.
City Attorney?
Yes. Thank you, Chair. The first speaker we have is Karen Stepp, followed by Jean Frenza, who has additional time yielded, a total of 9 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for hearing us tonight. My name is Karen Stepp, and I am a resident of Hemet over the last 12 years. I'm here tonight to say thank you, not only for the decisions you've made, but for the integrity you've shown in making them. It's been more than a year since residents first stood before you to oppose the placement of warehouses in our neighborhoods. During that time, you have modeled what open, ethical government looks like. Your meetings have been professional, transparent, and genuinely welcome to the public. You listened to residents, you engaged with our concerns, you asked thoughtful questions, and you shared information freely. There were no scripted testimonials from outsiders, no sidebar conversations, no buckling to the bullying from developers, no backroom manipulation, and no predetermined outcomes. You did your work where it belongs, in public, with respect for the people you serve. It has not gone unnoticed that your commission has conducted its business without the rumors, pressure, or questionable tactics that too often cloud decision-making elsewhere in our city. You have shown that honesty and transparency aren't obstacles to progress. They are the foundations of it. And when you made the difficult choice to deny the warehouse project at Warren and Simpson, you stood on principle, protecting our air, our roads, our safety, and the small-town character of Hemet. That is leadership, that is integrity, and that is courage. So again, thank you for showing this community what good government looks like and for proving that public trust can still be earned in the right way. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words.
Next speaker, Jean Frenza.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for hearing us out tonight, and hello to the commissioners and Layla, as well as city staff. Appreciate your time. I get the unfortunate part of saying where Karen was leading with some of her comments. And I don't know how else to say this, but I'm in the custody of a whistleblower comment and events about the Simpson warehouse, the Newland Simpson. Someone has come to me from within the city that has divulged that there is consideration for a third public hearing in favor of the landowner or developer threatening to sue the city for $60 million if they are not granted a third public hearing. I don't know this to be true, but I'd probably say I've never heard of a third public hearing on any project here in Hemet. I have to question why that would be and on what condition that would be given. I wrote to the mayor on September 29th expressing my concerns. I'm awestruck, I'm shocked. I just don't understand how that could happen. They're declaring that 2 of the council members have conflicts. Well, I would say many of the council members have conflicts. The 2 they're saying would be a gal that sat here on the commission because she was on the planning commission. They're declaring that as a perceived conflict. Connie Clark. Tom Lodge spoke between election and installation at the planning commission, and they're saying that's a conflict. Well, Joe Male stood at that Diaz, stood up in solidarity with the Carpenters Union when they spoke. I have a problem with that. I find that to be a conflict. Not only that, he declared that he thought warehouses were a good thing because he worked in a warehouse. So I would say that is more of a conflict than the city council appointing a planning commissioner to the city council, knowing fair well what her integrity was, and they believed that she could do her job without bias. They appointed her. So I draw conclusions only from meetings that I've attended. I'll stand with Karen. You guys you've taught us a lot. We learned a lot through the Planning Commission about the environmental report, all the problems with it, and we just don't believe it's right for the city. The mayor wrote back saying, I'm sorry, I can't comment on a potential litigation or executive session meeting, which I respect. I would never ask her to bend her beliefs either in the protocols. There were 4 issues that were denied on the second full denial, Planning Commission December 5th, City Council 5-0 denial on April 8th, and then 3-2 on July 14th. The 4 things are general plan amendment, conditional use permit, tentative parcel, and building height exceptions. Declined. The final EIR was not certified. Why on earth would this deal be back before the city? And I wonder, are you guys gonna see it? Where it belongs, with the experts, the people that can do the job, the people that have done the job with integrity. I just don't understand why it's at the city council. I'll call you and speak to the fairness of process in the city council protocols. Item 4.2, meetings with applicants and interested parties. Except as provided, a member may meet or communicate with any person interested in the development of a project after an application has been received or permit has been filed with the city relating to the development project. Members shall only meet and communicate with the applicant with regard to the development project as part of a noticed and agendized council meeting. Agendized council meeting. No lunches. No backdoor dealings. No parking lot discussions with the attorney, which we've witnessed after one of the declines. Councilmember Males, meeting with them. This whistleblower, who's yet to whistle, but I expect will, has said that there are backdoor dealings going on here regarding this deal, and there has been with others. You know, I moved here 10 years ago, and I knew that Hemet was a high-risk rated city at that time, but I really looked at things. I said, hey, we've got some good things going on. We've got a new city manager. We've got a new fire chief, new police chief. Now the fire chief, we got a scandal with that, but aside from that. So I just don't understand where this has gone wrong and why these things are not being done. Section 4.3, prior to any council deliberations regarding a development project at a noticed council meeting, members shall publicly disclose information about a development project that they have obtained from sources other than those presented in the staff report. That would be lunch, that would be drinks, that would be dinner, that would be the parking lot, all the things that have taken place. Publicly disclosed at an open meeting. Hasn't been done. Members, if they visited a site with an applicant, we know that Councilmember Males went to the Kirby project on site. We didn't get a report from that. Did everybody else get a report in an open meeting? No, we didn't hear that. He disclosed that, but he didn't report it to us. So anything about that they've received, they're supposed to receive and deliver to the city in general and the citizens at an open session. So we have to question, what on earth is going on? It's not fair, it's not right. The city shouldn't have to be going through this expense to have a third public hearing. And the planning commission should be able to look at the project, if in fact there's a valid reason. But I don't see there's anywhere in the process that there is a reason to have a third hearing. A third public hearing. The expense of that, pulling all the city people together, pulling the staff together, the time to do that, to have another presentation from the developer and the landowner, another 7-hour night after 3 declines. So I ask, and the only reason I'm telling you is because I did not want this information. The call came to me, why it came to me, I don't know. I can't unknow it. How do you unknow something like this? I've struggled with saying anything here. I will struggle with saying it at the city council, because there's only several things to do. When the mayor said she couldn't work with me, there was nowhere else for me to go but the city. I went to the state legislative body for the state auditors. There's 14 politicians that reside on that committee. They said we need a formal complaint from an assemblyman or other people of the legislative body. So our assemblyman has been notified. They are looking at it. They will probably file some type of audit type request. Other people have said we have to go to the Rivco DA, the Department of Integrity. That will be followed through as well. And these are not things we want to do, but absent information, absent disclosure, absent transparency from the city council, and what the heck's going on here, we don't have a choice as citizens. Because now it's dropped on my desk when it should be dropped on the whistleblower's desk. They're the ones that should be whistling. And after that, we get it in the hands that it belongs. That's where that's where decisions get to be made. So I thank you for the time. Sorry for any doubts it's going to cast on the city. I really don't appreciate that. I apologize to the mayor in my last email to her that it's going to cast doubts on the city. Well, we have doubts, but had it been handled properly, we wouldn't be here today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for that public comment and information. City Attorney, are there any e-comments?
No e-comments.
All right. Now we're going to move on for the approval of the minutes. Agenda item 5A is approval of the minutes of our meeting of September 2nd, 2025. Does the commission have any comments or corrections? Otherwise, can I entertain a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting September 2nd, 2025.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Viramontes, second by Commissioner Worth. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Worth.
Aye.
Commissioner Viramontes.
Yes.
Chair Beamstiffer.
Yes.
That motion passes 3-0.
Okay. Next, we have agenda item 6A, tenant parcel map. Can we have presentation from the staff? Deputy Director Emery Papp.
I'm not that thin, guys.
You made it look smooth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, commissioners, members of the public who came out this evening for your comments and to hear the presentation. I appreciate it very much. Emery Papp, Deputy Director of Community Development, presenting on behalf of staff. So the item before you today is an application for a tentative parcel map. The application itself fulfills two goals of the strategic plan for the city of Hemet. One be quality of life, ensuring that Hemet is safe, clean, and attractive and comfortable. And goal number two, under economic opportunity, to ensure that Hemet is a hub with access to quality jobs. The applicant for this project is Cross Engineering Services, LLC, and the property owner is Hemet Quack 22, LLC. The property is located on Florida Avenue East, on the north side of Florida Avenue, east of Coston. Under the Hemet Municipal Code and per the Subdivision Map Act, the Planning Commission has authority to be the approval body for this tentative parcel map. Here's an aerial photograph showing the location of the property north of Florida Avenue and east of Costin. The surrounding area includes mostly built environment. To the north is a mobile home or an RV resort. To the west is a dentist and orthodontics center. To the immediate east is an entitled but not built yet hotel. And to the north is Florida Avenue, I'm sorry, to the south is Florida Avenue, and across the way is some restaurants, the Los Vaqueros and Rocking K Ranch, and a Motel 6. Here's sort of a bird's eye view of the location in question. The general plan, or the zoning designation for the property is community commercial, or, I'm sorry, C2, community commercial. And the general plan designation is also community commercial. Here's a view looking into the project site, looking northwest. It's currently vacant with some overhead utility lines. And this diagram shows the proposed parcel map. The parcel map is currently a 1.59 acre site. There are two entitled projects on this site. One is the Quick Quack Car Wash, which was approved by the Planning Commission last year, I believe. It's Site Development Review number 22013, and also the Freddy's Drive-Thru Restaurant, which was CUP 23-002. Prior to issuance of building permits, they're going to have to complete this tentative parcel map. The parcel map shows a right-in and right-out configuration only because there is a median in Florida Avenue that would prevent left-turn movements exiting the site or entering the site from Florida. And the parcel 1 here is where the Quick Quack Car Wash would be located, and parcel 2 is where the Freddy's Restaurant would be located. Both of these uses will share a common driveway that is 34 feet wide. Also, each parcel will provide its own trash enclosure for each of the uses on its own site, and that was part of the conditions of approval of the underlying entitlements. Pursuant to the Subdivision Map Act and the Hemet Municipal Code, there are 9 findings that are required to approve a tentative parcel map. The information contained in your staff report and in the attached resolution shows that staff can make findings of fact to support all 9 of these findings in the affirmative, and if it were the Planning Commission's desire, you could approve this project. Under the California Environmental Quality Act, staff has determined that the project qualifies for a Class 15 categorical exemption, Section 15315 of the CEQA guidelines, minor land divisions, which is allowed when there are 4 or fewer parcels. The project was noticed publicly in the Press Enterprise newspaper. The notices were sent out on September 19th. They were also mailed to surrounding property owners within 300 feet of the property boundaries. As of this evening, staff has received no comments either for or opposed to the project. Therefore, staff respectfully recommends that the Planning Commission approve the tentative parcel map and direct staff to file a notice of exemption. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for that presentation, Deputy Director Papp. Does the commission have any questions for staff? Let's start with Mr. Worth, Commissioner Worth over there.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Quick question, I didn't see anything on the COAs for landscape, for public right-of-way landscape. Is that part of this action, or was that from the prior approvals?
They were under the prior approvals. The on-site landscaping, each has its own conceptual plan. In fact, both of those projects are currently in plan check as we speak. And then there is also, fronting the project is the scenic highway setback area, which is also included in the landscape plans for each of the individual entitlements.
Are they doing, is it a single LMD for that, or how is that being distributed in terms of the actual frontage to Highway 74?
I'll take a stab at that, but if I mess up, luckily we have our Deputy Director of Public Works that might be able to help me out. I believe both are going to be required to annex into Lighting and Landscape Maintenance District.
No, they've annexed into the citywide CFD, because we no longer we don't set up new LLMDs, we have a citywide CFD that is annexed into. And just to clarify, the Quick Quack is currently under construction, and the Freddy's is about ready to get their grading permit, so I just wanted to clarify that they are currently moving forward with that.
So there's gonna be a city-maintained, and is it a single city-maintained irrigation system for the entire frontage of that?
I believe so, it was all one CFD, yeah.
The only reason I bring this up is, that's an entry point into the city. And, a few years ago, the city spent a couple $100,000 on the frontage of Highway 74 adjacent to the Hemet Golf Course area, the Four Seasons area, to remove non-functional turf and change that, and also retrofit it over to recycle water. Directly adjacent to this site on the west side is a bunch of grass. And then if you go a little bit further to the east, all along the north side of Highway 74, it's a bunch of grass. It would be, I'm assuming it's gonna be installed per current standards, so we're gonna have this small little section that is put in per the current requirements, and then we're gonna have pieces that are not. Is there any plan on trying to
Make it all cohesive.
make it all cohesive and make it, I mean, this is the entry point into the city. Is there a way that we can kind of leverage this project to fix the stuff at least adjacent to it on this, I think it's a storage facility there, but.
I think it's just not a shopping center, but orthodontics and,
But is there any way to leverage this activity, and so we don't have a whole separate meter, separate irrigation system, separate, instead, let's kind of try to make it
more cohesive.
look better.
We can definitely look into that and see if it's a possibility, so.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I don't have any questions. I think it looks pretty straightforward. I'm glad to see that both parcels now will be required to have their own trash enclosures. I saw that they were sharing one at one point. Maybe a concern about the driveway, or the driveway. I mean, I guess 34 feet is pretty big enough. But no, I think it's all right. I have no questions.
Just real quick for the record, Commissioner Barones is now present for the meeting.
Noted.
I have a question more about, they agreed to the underground utilities?
I believe they are conditioned to underground the utilities. They're not permitted to have the overhead lines go over the building.
Okay, and then, of course, the CCNR, they're gonna be sharing the same drain system between the
Yes.
two locations. So, how is the city gonna create a CCNR that, if the restaurant throws a rag down a drain and clogs up the pipes versus the car wash trying to use their drain, what do we have written now for CCNR?
Fantastic question. So we anticipated that, and part of the conditions of approval are requiring that the conditions of approval, or that the CCNRs for the project, that they create a maintenance entity. So each property owner will pay into that fund to have a property management company or some sort of maintenance company come in and perform the maintenance on that. They'll periodically have to clear out debris, possibly take some siltation out of there for every now and then to make sure that it's at full capacity. So that's part of the requirements of the CCNRs.
And if there is a discrepancy between the two, who wants to pay? Let's just say there's a bad drain, a large project done for draining, they have to spend a lot of money, and one doesn't want to do it, or the other one doesn't. What happens in that case with the city? How does the city come in and fix that problem?
Well, unfortunately, the city has no authority to oversee CCNRs, but there are potential concerns related to, I want to say outfall, that's not the right word. If it surcharges, if it overflows, then the city can be fined. So yes, we do have to exert some sort of,
Worst case scenario.
yeah, and I'll go ahead and defer to our Deputy Director.
So as part of the water quality management plan, we require a BMP agreement, which basically states that the property owner is responsible for maintaining that subsurface system. And in the event that they don't, gives the city permission to go on site and to maintain it. And then as part of the CFD, there are funds in there that are dormant to maintain that basin if we need to.
Okay, and then just another worst-case scenario, we do go through droughts, and there's been times where car washes close down because of droughts. And in those situations, if a plumbing draining has an issue, even though they're closed down, is that between the two of them, or is that entirely on the restaurant at that point?
Plumbing, I'm not sure about, but the BMP would still be the same situation. Plumbing, that would be a building issue.
I just want to make sure, like, all those CCNRs are, worst-case scenarios are,
We'll go through them. They have, that'll be part of their final map.
okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Baronis, Barahona, do you have any questions for staff on this?
No, I do not.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to elaborate on a point Commissioner Viramontes made regarding the access. I believe that it's in the Caltrans right-of-way, so currently it's one parcel. So that one parcel has restricted access. So the entry point into those sites has to maintain that same point of access, or they have to file with Caltrans for a revision to the map, and that can take years to process. So we believe that a 34-foot wide dual shared driveway is sufficient.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good with one.
I have a clarifying question on the CFD versus the LMD. What does the CFD cover? Is there a geographic boundary that it covers? How does a CFD work versus a LMD?
So I'm not super familiar with the LMD, but the CFD is basically, we set up a citywide. We used to have, about 2 years ago and before that, every project would set up their own CFD. And so it was very expensive to set up. And so what we did is we created a citywide CFD that properties annex into, rather than setting up its own individual. It's also better for us in terms of management, because we're not managing all these, which we do have a lot of CFDs throughout the city. So the CFD includes landscaping, maintenance, street lights, drainage, those kind of things. And so they're all put into the CFD and then either in a dormant tax for something that is like I said, the BMP, the owner is required to maintain that. And then we would initiate that tax at the time if they didn't maintain it and we needed to go in there and do it. Whereas the landscaping would probably be us doing it. And so then that would be something that we would tax on a yearly basis.
And then so they contribute a initial contribution into that CFD to support.
It's yearly. It's basically yearly on the taxes.
It's yearly. So would that then lend itself to? Because I know one of the challenges when we're working, putting my other hat on, but when we're working with the city on how to change landscape systems is the funding mechanism for the different meters and the different. So in this particular case, you have a very small amount of frontage that's adjacent to an existing city-maintained streetscape. Is there, because it's a CFD versus a LMD, would this allow kind of a cross of funding between the existing landscape system if, for example, the city wanted to connect the new system to the existing system and upgrade the existing system? It seems like there's a big roadblock on making these changes just based on that administrative funding mechanism. And
Right.
so does the CFD allow more flexibility in allowing the city to make a more cohesive, if you look at from basically the Winco Shopping Center all the way into Stanford, it'd be nice to kind of consolidate that landscape system and make it more cohesive.
Once they annex into the CFD, they're set up in a zone, I believe is how it's done. And so that zone is specific to that property and those specific things identified in that CFD. So it wouldn't be able to be used on other properties or to cross boundaries or anything like that. It would, in order to have them all put into the citywide CFD, each property owner would have to annex in themselves and be added that way.
So I guess that's where I don't know if there's any way to leverage the project at hand, so that when it has an opportunity to play nice with the stuff that's next to it and not be its own issue that we can't deal with later on. And I don't know what the answer is. I just hope that as we're going through this process, that we have an opportunity to look at that with the mind of, or a vision of what we want that whole corridor to look like. And instead of having a whole bunch of individual meters, irrigation systems, all next to each other that are a lot more costly to make cohesive,
So you're saying having one system for all of it and for the
Correct.
frontage?
Well,
So-
that would be one approach. That would be definitely more efficient, right? You only have one point of connection, one controller, all the irrigation equipment that you can run the entire street instead of having every single parcel have its own, right? So there's efficiencies there. It's just the challenge has been historically that I've seen is the funding
Right.
mechanism
And that
that's
is-
established. So
right.
if there's a way that we can address that so that it gives the city the opportunity in the future when funds, when rebates and grants and different opportunities arise, that we can leverage those to improve the aesthetic appeal and the cohesiveness of that, of the aesthetic appeal
Yeah.
for the city. I think that would just be something that we want to look at in terms of how we set up the public right-of-way and Highway 74 setback.
Okay, I mean, we could look into that. This one's already annexed into the CFD, so that's kind of already been completed. And then, like I said, the other property owners, I don't know, I don't really know. I'd have to do some research on that to see if there's even a way to do that, because typically, they don't annex into the CFD until they come in with an application. And so existing projects, we couldn't really go to them and ask them to annex into the CFD in that way, so it would be.
Whatever the case is, it's how do we deal with it moving forward and trying
Okay.
to avoid having these challenges moving forward. So,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
Okay, any other questions? No? All right, with that, we're gonna go ahead and open up public hearing and have the applicant come up if he's here and see if there's anything you'd like to say.
Good evening, Scott Yorkison, owner. I'm here to answer any questions. I think the city engineer, Jolene, answered where we're at. We're fully entitled, permits ready to pool. I know that we followed all the requirements for the frontage. It includes, I think, some park benches, lights, irrigation, landscape.
Yeah.
And did all the paperwork and filling out the annexation.
Yeah, that's great. I have no issues with that. It's more on how we deal with kind of the infill
What comes next?
of making a larger,
Consistent.
cohesive,
Yeah, it makes sense.
aesthetic streetscape
Yeah,
for, entrance into the city.
Yeah.
Instead of having, the property next to you is gonna be from decades ago with a bunch of grass and a lot less invested in their landscape than what you're having to do.
yeah.
And it'd be nice to just make that a lot more cohesive.
And
So
we
that-
did, connect to the meandering sidewalk as
Right,
well. So I
right.
think it's meandering to the west of us. We continue that to
Right.
our side of the property, then I would assume as the future one comes in, they'll
Right.
continue the meandering.
Yeah, and it's
I know we're
meandering
connecting
over
to
by
that.
Home Depot and all of that
Yeah.
as well. It's just that it'd be more cost effective for everyone coming in if you didn't have to go in and hot tap and put a new service in Highway 74
Right.
for a landscape meter.
Believe me, I know.
So anyways, but thank you.
you.
Yeah, I have no other issues or
I
concerns.
don't have any questions for you, but
Okay.
thank you for choosing
Thank
the
you.
city of Hempstead.
Yes.
With any other public comments or e-comments?
There are no other public comments.
All right, with that, we're gonna close public hearing, and may I discuss or entertain a motion?
I have no discussion, and I would propose that we adopt Planning Commission resolution, tentative parcel map 38465, based on the findings and exhibits and subject to the attached conditions of approval, and direct staff to file the NOE with the county clerk.
And I second that motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Worth, second by Commissioner Viramontes. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Worth,
Aye.
Commissioner Viramontes,
Yes.
Commissioner Barahona,
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer.
Yes.
That motion passes 4-0.
Thank you very much. We'll now take department reports. Next item is 7A, City Attorney reports.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to share a case with everyone. It's La Forest versus City of Mount Shasta, which is up north. And it's a recent case from the California Court of Appeals involving a challenge to the city's approval of a new school facility for Golden Eagle Charter School. After the city council gave project a green light, La Forest sued, arguing that the environmental review violated CEQA. The dispute focused mainly on whether the city had properly studied the potential environmental impacts, especially noise, and whether it adequately responded to public comments raising concerns about the project. The court ultimately sided with the city. It explained that when reviewing CEQA decisions, courts do not re-weigh the evidence, but instead ask whether the agency's conclusions are supported by substantial evidence in the record. So in this case, La Forest argued that the city should have relied more on actual noise measurements rather than computer modeling, and that it made flawed assumptions about factors like tree cover and ground surfaces. The court, however, held that the city acted within its discretion to use modeling as long as the methodology was reasonable and the assumptions were explained. Because the city had responded in good faith to the objections and provided a reasonable basis for its choices, the court found no CEQA violation. So this decision highlights an important lesson that under CEQA, agencies have room to rely on technical methods like modeling as long as they provide evidence and explanation for their approach. So courts will defer to those choices unless there's a clear lack of support on the record. And that is my conclusion.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. And 7B, Community Development Reports, Director Monique.
Thank you, Chair. I had the opportunity to attend the American Planning Association's conference in Monterey this past week. And I have a lot of information to bring back, but there will be a lot of updates to our the legislative session. There are bills going through. They're on the governor's desks now that are really heavily geared towards streamlining and housing, more streamlining and more housing. And so more to come with that. I also had the opportunity to attend a mobile workshop called Get Fired Up with the City of Monterey Fire Department and CAL FIRE. They took us on a tour of where the Moore Fire was in the late 80s, and they provided us how tools and information on how they're managing wildfire and what strategies are in place. So I have some great information that I'm going to share with our fire chief, and it was a really great experience. And that concludes my report for today.
Thank you very much. And now future agenda items, Director Monique.
Yes, we do have future agenda items, and we're starting to increase the items coming forward soon. We do have the McDonald's drive-through site development or conditional use permit modification that is coming forward. That's going to be scheduled for the November 4th Planning Commission meeting that was cleared through the process. There will be a Simpson Park Elevate modernization plan being brought forward to the commission for review. We do have an extension of time for the Latham Senior Apartments that was approved previously and will be coming back forward for approval of an extension of time. In the near future, we do have an exciting project, Tres Cerritos West Specific Plan Amendment, with including development of that site that was originally approved as Track 31513. It's coming back for a modification through D.R. Horton, as well as another residential tentative track map development along Warren Road, north of Florida Avenue, north of Celeste or Rose Road, Valle de los Tres Cerritos. That will be, it's moving its way through the development pipeline and will be presented to the Planning Commission in the upcoming months. That concludes my future agenda items.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Director Monique. And may we have item 7D, Planning Commissioners' reports.
Commissioner Worth?
On June 20th, I attended the Hemet San Jacinto Leadership Group and was able to hear a presentation by Councilwoman Clark. I attended both in my capacity as a planning commissioner and then also my role at Eastern Municipal Water District. I just wanted to comment on the public comment this earlier in the meeting. I think that I would agree wholeheartedly that that the Planning Commission has a role to play. My perspective and my understanding of our role is to review projects. And so if the project that we review is denied by the Planning Commission and it is subsequent, and for whatever reason, but it's subsequently changed into something different, then I would hope that the Planning Commission has an opportunity to review it again with the changes. And so rather than and I don't know what the formal legal process is, I would like to maybe get some understanding of that. But if it comes through as a particular project and the Planning Commission denies it and then it gets changed and we don't get another opportunity to look at it, there's something that doesn't feel right, especially with the project in question that was mentioned. My personal primary concern with the project was with the environmental statement of overriding considerations that did not address the environmental impacts of the project. And so if there's going to be changes, we should have an opportunity as a commission to re-review that and weigh in on it. That's my personal feeling. I don't know if it's a legal one, but I would love to have some input on that. And if this project is continuing to come back, it seems to me proper that it should go through the Planning Commission prior to going back to the council.
That's a good question, Commissioner Worth. As far as I know right now, without really looking into it, I don't know if there's a legal rule that requires it to go back to Planning Commission unless City Council remands it back to Planning Commission for further review. But it also depends on the type of project it could be and what it is that exactly is being changed. So I would have to look into that a little bit further. But from what I know and from what I understand is that there's nothing that really per se says that it's required to come back to Planning Commission unless City Council votes for it to be remanded for further review.
And so I guess I would just put this to staff and frankly to the council that maybe there's a legal element, but there's also maybe a transparency element that would be probably helpful to the community if the commission is able to do their job.
Sure.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Viramontes?
Nothing to report, but I will be absent October 21st, our next planning commission. I am finally getting married, 31 years old, so it's time. All right, thank you, everybody. But that's it. Thank you.
I don't have anything to report. Okay. Commissioner Barahona, nothing to report? Oh, I don't have anything to report at this time. Thank you. Commissioner Hill? Oh, excuse me, Commissioner Hill is absent. She's on my script.
She's gracefully on.
I'm a professional, I promise. Chair Beamsterfer.
I'm just gonna kind of go off of what Commissioner Worth said too. I think, you know, especially if they went from 2 buildings to 1 and then it bypassed us and now they want to, if rumors are true, they want to bring it back. So I think transparency is a big key here instead of it bypassing again. Just a couple interesting fun facts. Hemet was incorporated in 1910, as we know, with the total 170 voters. 130 voted yes and 33 voted no, according to, even though the math doesn't add up, but there was 170 votes, so probably some are in between. The Hemet Dam was built and completed in 1895, and the Maystone was over by California Avenue over there, was discovered by a rancher in 1914, and they estimate the rock to be around 500 years old, with the origin still unknown to this day. It doesn't resemble any of the local Indian artifacts. So it's a little interesting rock we have out there. Anyway, well, let me turn the page here so I go by script. With there being no further business to discuss, this meeting is adjourned to the next Planning Commission meeting scheduled for October 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m.